Hey everyone, welcome! Today, we're diving into Leviticus Chapter 17. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Leviticus can feel a little, well, ancient, but I promise you this chapter is packed with some absolutely profound truths about life, worship, and who God really is. Let's get into it. So this is the big question, right? Why all these incredibly specific, strict rules, especially about sacrifice and blood? It's a great question, and what you're going to see is that this chapter isn't just some random list of do's and don'ts, it's actually the answer to a deep spiritual puzzle, showing us God's amazing plan to protect His people and make a way for them to come close to Him.
All right, so the first major principle God establishes here is all about location. And this is way more important than you might think. He's laying the foundation for a unified and holy people by telling them, hey, there's only one right place to bring your offerings.
The first part of the chapter is just crystal clear on this point. It didn't matter what kind of animal it was, an ox, a lamb, a goat. If it was a sacrifice, it had to be brought to the entrance of the tabernacle. Period. You know, this wasn't just a suggestion to keep things tidy. It was a non-negotiable command that was absolutely essential for the spiritual health of the entire community. This slide really breaks down the why behind the command. On one side, you've got this idea of worship in the open field, which was basically how all the surrounding nations did it. It was chaotic, isolated, and, frankly, it led straight to idolatry. But on the other side, you have the tabernacle. By telling them to only worship there, God was drawing a bold line in the sand. He was calling His people out of spiritual chaos and into an orderly, unified communion with Him. It's about being set apart for Him. He was protecting them. Okay, so we've established where to worship. Now let's get to the absolute heart of this chapter, because it all builds to this. God is about to explain the incredible significance of blood. And let me tell you, this is not just some dietary rule, this is a foundational statement about how God sees the world. The command is just absolute. He repeats it over and over for emphasis. No one, it didn't matter if you were an Israelite or a foreigner living with them, was allowed to consume blood. Even if you were out hunting, you had to pour the blood on the ground and cover it with dust, treating it with this incredible reverence. God is making it so clear that blood is in a category all by itself. It's sacred. And here it is, the reason why, straight from God Himself. Seriously, pause and let that sink in for a second. This is one of the most powerful verses in the entire Old Testament. Life itself, that mysterious, sacred thing that animates us, God says it's carried in the blood. Blood represents life. So, if life is in the blood, why is it forbidden to eat? Well, it's because God had reserved it for one singular, incredibly holy purpose. He didn't just tell them not to use it for common things, He set it apart. He consecrated it for a divine purpose. And to get that purpose, we have to understand this one crucial word, atonement. Theologically speaking, our sin creates a gap, a separation between us and a perfectly holy God. Atonement is God's plan, His divine provision, to bridge that gap and bring us back into a right relationship with Him. It's all about covering that sin. Verse 11 just lays out this divine logic so beautifully for us. Look at these steps. First, God establishes the principle, life is in the blood. Got it? Second, He declares that the blood is a gift from Him. He says, I have given it to you. Specifically for the altar, it belongs to Him and He's giving it for this purpose. And third, He reveals the ultimate goal, to make atonement for your soul. So the shedding of blood, the giving of a life, was the way God designed to cover the debt of sin. So what do we do with all this today? You know, these aren't just dusty, obsolete regulations. No way. They are absolutely packed with timeless truths about who God is and what matters to Him. When you pull it all together, you see a God who deeply desires a people set apart for Him. You see that His rules aren't meant to restrict us, they're meant to protect us, to create a safe path for us to come near to Him. We learn just how sacred life is in His eyes. And most importantly, He establishes this foundational truth of the universe. Sin costs something. Its price is a life, given for atonement. And that really leaves us with something profound to chew on. The whole system we've just looked at points to this one incredible reality. Forgiveness is costly. It is not cheap. If a life is what's required to cover sin, that just shows you how seriously God takes our separation from Him and the unbelievable lengths He is willing to go to bring us home. It's a principle that's going to find its ultimate perfect fulfillment later on, but the foundation? It was laid right here in the heart of Leviticus.